Game started.
Oh, Damart. Been playing him a few times recently. Here, let's try a Sicilian. Let's see. We're going to get the Smith-Morra gambit. Okay, I will play it once again. I don't know if it's more precise to play d6 or the knight up first, but this is pretty standard position in the Smith-Morra gambit. White has lots of development for the pawn, and he gets pressure on the center. Yes, so the normal moves are queen to e2 and rook to d1. Yeah, so he's pinned this pawn, and that makes the move e5, e4 to e5 an effective threat. I can't take it, and after I move my knight, he can take over here, and the knight doesn't really have any good squares to go to, so it's best to play e5 to stop that advance. And that's about all I know about the theory of the Smith-Morra gambit. I usually, in my own play, avoid it. I think I've mentioned that before in my videos. I use a line that transposes into a line of the Alpine Sicilian. You decline the gambit and play knight f3. Instead of taking on c3, you play knight f3. So I'm just going to castle here. I think that's my main idea. This pawn here is a bit weak, and there's sometimes tricks to win it by taking the knight. But he's going a different route with this knight to g5 move. So I don't think that was necessarily the best. I think developing the dark squared bishop is kind of logical at that point. And where are you going to put that bishop except on g5 here? Well, I could go to e3, I guess. But I'm going to play h3 next move. Okay, so he did. I'm going to play h6 next move and kick the knight back. So seems like I've gained a tempo. Let's see if I can put it to any use. Okay, let's expand a bit on the queen side. I think you have to be prepared to give the pawn back. You just remember you're a pawn up and try not to lose too many pawns in the process. So let's see, can I play b5 here? Can he take? This is loose, but it can be defended. I think I can play it. And then get my bishop onto a good diagonal here. Bishop to b7. So queen to c7 and rook to d8 is my plan. If I could ever advance this pawn, now my problems would be solved largely. Or if he puts a piece there and I can exchange it in such a way that a pawn ends up on d4, that also solves a lot of my problems. Yeah, he put a rook on the c-file, so it's not so attractive to play queen c7 here. So what else do I have? Rook c8, knight to knight a5. Yeah, maybe knight a5 here. He's got a tempo move with his knight. Knight can come here or here, but I can take the bishop hitting his queen. He comes here and I take the bishop. He can take my bishop with check. I take back, and he takes my knight. So still it comes out about even. So now, yeah, to avoid losing material, he has to take my bishop. Which he does with check. That's the trick. takes there with check. So that loses, right? I've got. Oh no, it doesn't. He didn't have to take. He could just take my knight. But this is what I wanted. I wanted to get I wanted to get a white pawn on the square d5, so I don't have to worry so much about my backwards d pawn. And now I'm just a pawn up. Yeah, okay, so I'm not up material, but I'm a pawn up, and I have the bishop pair. So I think I'm out of trouble here. We'll see. Sometimes the attack continues. Yeah, where is he going? He's got, I was expecting him to play rook to c1, just grab the c file. Are there other choices for him here? Bishop. I guess he could be thinking about a bishop sack on on h6. I think that's probably not good. But he did kind of drag my queen away from this dark square diagonal. So now he just played g3. I'm not sure what that does. Well, it controls a couple dark squares here. And let's get my queen away from that vulnerable position. I want to get a rook on the c file if he's not going to put one there. And then maybe I could expand. I have an extra pawn in the center now. Play f5. Maybe even f4. I guess not f4 because that's too well defended. But I could do it in stages. I could play g5 and then f4. So I didn't. I said I was going to put a rook on the c file, and then I didn't do that. But this plan on the okay. So he was thinking about that sack. Yeah, I was wondering why he was pausing there. That's kind of a reasonable looking sack, isn't it? But my bishop guards the the g5 square, so he can't easily get his knight in there. So I can just lift up my rook to guard against checks from his queen and then chase the queen away. And the pawns over here are all defended. And any knight move, I just take it. So yeah, so I don't think that sack was good. So I have the idea of rook h7 and pawn to f4 and then queen to h3. Check. Drives the king back to g1. But nothing else. Too bad this pawn is protected. I really want to just take this pawn. So maybe I should play my queen to rook h7 and get my queen over to f7 somehow and try and put pressure on the on this pawn. Or maybe he will voluntarily move his rook away from this file, trying to get on an open file. And leave the pawn hanging, in which case that would be a good sequence for me. Rook f7, rook h7, queen h, f4, queen h3, check, and then bishop takes knight. Or bishop takes pawn, then takes knight. Okay, that's getting far afield. He's thinking here. How long has he been thinking? Almost a minute and a half. Yeah, I don't think there's any continuation for his attack, so I don't know. I don't know what he can play here. There's no check. Well, there is a check here, but just queen here. I mean rook. Queen, g6 check, rook, g7. And then there's no more checks. There's a check here, but I just take the queen off. And all he gets is a passed pawn, which I can probably surround and pick up. Okay, so he retreated the knight. I do want to chase the queen away. The knight protects the h3 square, so I can't get my queen to h3 with check anymore.
Check.
If he goes back to if he goes back to h6, I have bishop g5 hitting the queen. So he might go back to yeah, he goes back to h5. Could play rook here. I don't know what that doesn't seem to do a whole lot. Let's I'm maneuvering the bishop a little bit so I can play queen to f7. Threatens to trade off his queen and threatens to take the d pawn. Okay, he's advancing these pawns. That's logical. That's his advantage here, is he's got extra pawns on the king side. Maybe he can inflict some damage by advancing them, but they're pretty far back still. And now if he doesn't trade queens, I'm going to take this pawn with check. But yeah, it's not a check that does a whole lot. His king can just retreat. But, and so if he doesn't take, where does the queen go anyway? It could come here. No, it can't go there because that, well, no, actually it could. Queen to f3.
Check.
I can't take because the queen and the rook are protecting that pawn. Okay, so he's got the knight back in the game. Yeah, I'm piece up now because he sacked a piece, that's right. This pawn is pinned on g3, so he can't take me. Take my f pawn. He can push it forward and then I can take with the rook. Or if he leaves it there, okay, we'll just exchange it. And I wanted to get my king off the open f-file in case he maneuvers his rook over here. It's just a, that move didn't do a whole lot, but I wanted to maintain a couple of threats. There's the g-pawn is still pinned, so the bishop threatens to take the h-pawn if the knight ever moves. So I'm giving white an opportunity to make a bad move here if he wants to. And if nothing else, I guess I could maneuver the bishop. Yeah, I guess that's what I should do. Bishop to bishop to g4 there, hitting the knight. Maybe that's an idea. Oh, there was if we back up, I wonder if that was there for a long time. Yeah, there was this fork here I could have played. Pawn to, missed that. Pawn to e4 would have been a fork of the rook and the knight. So he avoided the fork. Now he's got, yeah, he's got the rook on an open file there. Okay, let's go ahead and play this. I'm going to, if he checks, I'm going to block with my bishop. If he takes the bishop, I'm going to take his knight. If the knight moves, I'm hoping the knight doesn't have any great moves with tempo. Ah, he's going after the, he pinned that pawn. That's good. Okay, this unpins, but he can... if he takes the pawn, I can take there with check. So he'll probably take the bishop. Oh, he went that way. Okay, well, let's go back and attack the d-pawn again.
White forfeits on time.
Yeah, he was running low on time. I think I was still winning here. Yeah, I'm still a piece up. I just gave up a pawn for no particular reason there. So my play was not very inspiring towards the end there. But anyway, that's how it ended. I'm going to do a postmortem and see you guys later. Bye.